Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Bottoms, a coming-of-age high school comedy in theaters in August about two lesbian losers trying to win the girls of their dreams. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 11, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So I like comedies, and I don't dislike some of the comedy in this movie. But I feel like it's not set in a reality that will connect with the majority of the audience. It feels like it's set in a pseudo-reality. So the basic plot, I'll break it down in the 3-act structure. So the girls are a couple of losers in the school. And as always in high school, there's hot girls and there's jocks. And one of the girls is in love with the hot girl dating the lead jock who's psychotic. And so they attempt to rescue his girlfriend one night when the two get into an argument. And during the rescue attempt, the high schooler steps in front of her car and she inches up and barely taps him, which either puts his knee out temporarily or he fakes it. I can't tell. It's not a good bit. I'm not sure why it's in there unless he's totally faking it. Anyhow, they get into a lot of trouble and they go in front of the principal. And in order to get out of the situation, I think they lie and say that it was all part of some self-defense class that they're trying to teach. Then the second act is, in order to facilitate the lie, they have to teach the self-defense. So they create it, and then they need a teacher to sponsor it. And so they find the sketchiest teacher in the school, who's this guy, and who reads porn in school, apparently. And so I think they have the meeting without him at first, and then later he shows up and agrees to sponsor them. And then it turns into female fight club, the girls pounding each other. And they're all really into it for some reason. So there's that. So then that escalates, and eventually they fight the football players, I think, and then somehow they eventually connect and win the girls. There's so many bits in here I just don't buy. Now, you might say, is this the sort of movie where reality has to be August, by the way, I think August 25th, where the reality has to be 100% bought? No, but the problem is with comedy, you've got to connect. You got to connect on common ground. So you probably remember girls in high school. I don't really see them as advocates for Fight Club for a whole lot of reasons. I could drill down and give you like probably a good dozen reasons why girls would not get into a fight club at all. Mostly because they don't want to mess up their face. So, you know, it's kind of funny. And I could see a select group of girls maybe going down that path. But it turns into a whole thing. And it just doesn't ring true. On top of the fact, like, the two main characters feel like male characters written as women. Like, this movie would have worked fine with two male leads trying to win the girls, right? Because you could see two guys starting a fight club in order to beat the jocks. That would sort of be a fairer fight. The girls don't have any chance to beat the jocks. They're jocks. They're already athletic. And then, you know, these guys are portrayed as the losers of the school. That's not the way a high school movie works. It feels like they've just inserted lesbians where the guys should be. That's what it feels like. Yeah, August 25th. Directed by Emma Seligman. Written by Emma Seligman and Rachel Sennott, who's the lead. I think this is Rachel here. Um, so good on you. I mean, there's some fun comedy bits in here, I think. There's a lot of good energy from the leads, but. And the idea that football players are still steamrolling everybody in high school. Have you heard about high school recently? Have you heard how woke and crazy everything is? They would not be the group steamrolling anybody. Not now. Even when back in the 80s, some, but not a lot. Now, you're out of your mind. That's just not a reality that exists right now. So, I'll tell you a group that could steamroll everybody in the high school. Yeah, they have a bunch of initials, and these two would be in that group. You could rewrite this movie in such a way to make that work, right? You could have this powerful LGBTQ community in the school that runs amok, and the school can't stop them because you know why. And then you've got two girls who are in it, but they get kicked out of it because they're normal and they're kind of losers, and the LGBTQ community says, screw you, get out of here, losers. And then they have to beat them. And you could still put in the football players and other high school tropes, but they have to win over the LGBTQ guys or beat them at their own game, and they would be kind of on even ground. But beating up the football players and making the football players again the bad guys, I think it's been done. I'm pretty sure it's been done like a gazillion times. And even in the 80s, it wasn't, plenty of football players, they're normal people. There are plenty of a-holes outside of that as well. You're playing on a trope that's so old it creaks and rust flakes off of it every time you use it. So how about updating it? How about updating it to a reality that people will connect with? Who's the audience for this thing? I mean, lesbian girls? Sure, that's an audience, I guess. How many's that in the school? The people who buy tickets for a movie for their date was the audience previously. Some of them might be lesbian girls. I'm not quite sure who pays on a date, but okay. I don't see teenage guys taking their date to this particular movie, unless it became so insanely popular that everybody was going to see it. Then maybe. And then maybe the girls would want to see it, and the guys would say, "Oh, I'll take you to see that movie. I hear it's good." I don't think that's going to happen with this. I think it's just going to come and go. And, you're trying to make an outrageous comedy. Great. But we've seen all these outrageous bits before, fighting in the school. Yeah, it's kind of outrageous, especially with all the blood. I mean, that's a tough sell, but if you had set it in a reality that we could get behind, it might work. Don't know how she breaks her arm, I assume, during the fighting. The very corrupt, sketchy teacher, that's been done before. The angry jocks, that's been done before. The principal who's out of touch, that's been done before. Here's something that hasn't been done before. The sketchy teacher teaches feminism. This is probably maybe at the end of the movie, I guess. I don't know why this is even in there. But that to me is a huge red flag that this is going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to do some outrageous comedy and then we're going to beat you over the head with feminism. I don't know why you would do that in a comedy. This has no place. Unless you're making fun of it. A comedy movie has to be all about the comedy. You want to do the most outrageous thing. The real most outrageous thing is not going up against the jocks. It's old hat. The outrageous thing would be the LGBTQ community ostracizes two of the lesbians for whatever reason, and they're a couple of losers that, I don't know, they start their own community and they beat the bad guys at the end. They beat the LGBT community. Yeah, you could make that work. Will Hollywood greenlight that? Oh no, I don't think so. It would be hilarious. Because, again, people could relate to it. Can they relate to this? Kind of. in sort of like a, oh yeah, that's a movie tropey thing. Football players picking on the other students. Yeah, I remember that from a movie I saw. But that's like a shadow of a shadow of a shadow of a shadow. It won't connect. But if you've got a bunch of LGBTQ students who run the school because because the school is petrified of disciplining any of them, oh, I think you got a winner there. I think that's a reality. Like a lot of students will be like, yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I kind of think I'm right. Will this do any business? Probably not. I mean, it'll open, and then it opens in slightly more theaters the second week in an attempt to kind of artificially say, oh, look how well this movie's doing. Will it hit? I kind of doubt it. Maybe it does a couple of million and then disappears. That would be my guess. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take than that, take it. I'll be at the Vineland Library on Thursday for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Hope to see you there, and we'll see you in the next one.